Hello, love. Welcome to Feeling Fridays here on the Libra Key. Messages for the highest and the greatest good and in the highest and greatest truth of the empath journey and the empath collective here on Mama Gaia. Know that if this message has found you and or if you have found it, that there is something here for you. That is always the intention that I put into these messages. This coming straight from the whale and orca elders, the dolphins especially. So I'm getting a lot of dolphin spirit energy. Obviously a connection here to the whale and orca elders in the sense of being connected to the ocean, being connected to the unconscious, the collective unconscious and collective consciousness here on Mama Gaia. I'm seeing, what's interesting is I'm being shown specifically the dolphins in a color spectrum. I am seeing pink, blue, gray, white dolphins. Okay, so this could also be connected to, for those of us that are connected to galactic energies, this could be the dolphins of Andromeda, the Andromedan galaxy. Perhaps that is a confirmation from some of you. They're nodding their heads, so this could be that. But really, they came in and they wanted me to get started. They actually prompted me. This is the first time this has ever happened, to pop cards for this message, starting with the Starcodes Astro Oracle. I'm also going to be asking for guidance through Pamela's mini deck. Okay. This beautiful High Priestess. I'm working with the energies here of Celestite and Selenite. Very much in this spectrum of how these dolphins and this water energy is coming through for this message. Also, the emphasis on the words here, Celestite and Selenite, okay? It's interesting because they're spelled differently in English. Celestite is spelled with a C, Selenite spelled with an S, because it is connected to the energy of Selene, or the moon, and the energies of the moon. Again, watery. And Celestite being connected to everything celestial. They are all connected. And what they're showing me here is this particular frequency coming through this message. This celestial frequency, to be exact. So there's something here in it being obviously connected elementally to water. I'm also seeing waves and sound waves connected to that. There is a connection here to Piscean energy as well, especially with this Celestite. This energy of ebbing and flowing. A very cyclical quality to this, where we don't know where it ends and we don't know where it begins. Tapping into the all is what I'm hearing. Tapping into the energy of the all. Interesting, because they're also bringing in here the energy of apophyllite. And I do have this chunk on my space deck here. I'm going to bring that in as well. Interesting how they're showing me, look how these two reflect one another. Okay, so there's also an emphasis here on reflection and connection. This apophyllite, very watery in its content, with the selenite, which is actually not. It's interesting. Selenite being almost salt-like, right? And how, it's interesting because they're also showing me that this combination is like salt water. You have selenite is one crystal that we refrain from exposing to water because it dissolves. And this apophyllite has a high water content. So there's a beautiful message here, and almost coming through like a teaching almost, or a principle, because I'm hearing the word arhi, like a principle of contrasting energies looking exactly the same. I want to make sense of that for a moment. This is a mirroring effect is what they're showing me. They're showing me Selene, the moon, full moon. We do have a full moon coming up on August 19th, which I know for some of us is a date that's been coming up quite a bit. This is a full moon in Aquarius. Wow, I almost said full moon in October. I saw 505 on the counter when I said that too. And that is the number 10, which is the 10th month of the year, October. And they're showing me the full moon in October as well. So there's something significant in that. There's a bunch of messages wanting to come through for that now. I know that we will be going into eclipse season at some point coming up in September. So that could be a nod to this, okay? I don't want to go any further though into that because I feel like that's a whole other message. But Spirit is bringing that through, the whale and orca elders, the dolphins bringing this energy through. Also as confirmation for some of us as well. If things like this have been coming up, I'm just going to take a very quick look at my calendar here. For some reason, I'm being guided to do that. I'm being guided to do that. Give me 2 seconds here. Yeah, this full moon in Taurus in October, going into November. No, that's not the one that they're saying is, okay. I'm sorry, apologies. I'm being, this is what happens. Okay, sorry, they're showing me here, no, October 17th. Okay, interesting. That is the blood moon, right? That same day, Venus enters Sagittarius. So there's some kind of significance in that because we have a full moon in Aries. There's a beautiful fire energy. Oh, they're showing me, okay. Interesting. So I'm being shown something significant around that time with regard to the energies, the moon, biophotons, the light hitting the water. We've spoken about this before, except this is moonlight. This is not sunlight, what they're showing me. And the blood moon is also, they're showing me connected to water. So they're bringing in here our bodies, the significance of our bodies, the blood that is within our veins reflected as the waters of Mama Gaia. There is a real emphasis here on what is happening in the waters of Mama Gaia. Okay. And I'm seeing almost like I'm seeing tidal waves. Now, I don't want to alarm anybody because this is just coming through right now, but there's some kind of significance in this. And I feel that this is an ongoing message that's going to want to come through. Okay. They're showing me from this full moon now coming up on August 19th, I am recording this the day of, so this is star date, or I should say Earth time date, in terms of linear time and calendar time, using that template. It is August 16th, 2024, the recording of this message and the posting of this message, okay? Okay, so they're showing me that there's some kind of significance right now between this full moon that we have coming up on Monday. I know it's at 2:26 Eastern time, so calculate for what day it falls for you. August 19th, this is a full moon in Aquarius, and they're showing me the full moon moving forward into Aries, but I'm also seeing the full moon that they referenced in Taurus as well, because there's a connection here with the fixed signs. I know that there are things going on astrologically with regard to the fixed and the mutable signs. T-squares coming up on this full moon. A lot of, I'm hearing pressure cooker. So there is a dissipation of this energy. There's some kind of connection between now and October to November with this full moon. All right. Okay. And they're showing me a scarecrow now. I'm seeing like a, Oh my God, I'm hearing straw man fallacy. I'm actually seeing the Scarecrow and the Wizard of Oz. Oh man, okay. And now they're directing me to the energy of illusion here. Okay, this is an energy that's, wow, this is going in a whole other direction. Okay, bear with me here, because now they're pointing me to the crow and trickster energy, because I'm seeing a crow. I'm seeing a lot of sort of Halloween. And I'm saying that specifically. I'm not referring to Samhain here. I'm referring to Halloween specifically, the Halloween motifs that we see in our popular culture, right? In parts of the world that celebrate Halloween. It's funny because they're saying to me, can they even say celebrate? Can we even say celebrate? Okay. So they're emphasizing here a trickster energy. This trickster energy is just everywhere. It's been coming through a lot. But they're showing this trickster energy to me in a dysfunctional, illusory respect. I'm not seeing it in the ways that I have spoken about that have come through quite a bit for us. But there's a counterbalance to this they're reminding me, and I believe it was the last video. I believe it was that last message that came through for Transformation Tuesdays where we had the energy of Corvus coming through. Okay. So what's interesting is that recently I had a synchronicity come up about this, which was a reminder actually in a way I'm hearing crow people. Okay. Now I know that there's an indigenous culture or tribe connected to the United States somewhere, the Native Americans, the indigenous cultures of that land that refer to themselves, I believe, as the crow people. I'm not sure. I might be mistaken. Please put information in the comments below if you know what I'm talking about here, okay? But what I'm seeing here, I'm hearing that, but they're not just... this Corvus energy is coming through now for this message. This is so fascinating. This is also coming through now. Okay, I just want to allow that sort of energy to settle in for a moment. Okay. There is a lot of crow energy peaking, is what I'm being shown. If you're seeing crows, if you're coming across crows, this is ravens by extension, but I'm really connected to this crow energy right now, this Corvus energy specifically. As I understand it, they're all corvids, obviously, the raven, the crow, but it's this crow energy that's really being emphasized right now because of the way that crows are connected to groups, to traveling in groups, to communication. So if you've ever heard crows communicate very intelligently and very much by design and very much by what they're showing me patterns. Okay, I'm actually seeing geometric patterns in the way that they communicate, the number of calls that they make. They're also emphasizing that if you're hearing crows in your area, wherever you live, or you're walking, or you're outside, or even you're coming across even things wherever in your reality, even if you're in your home and you're hearing clairaudiently crows, is how they're showing it to me. Pay attention to the number of calls you hear. And I'm actually hearing heed the call. They're reminding me. They're reminding me of, okay, they want me to get back to the synchronicity for a second, but they're bringing in something personal here for me as a reminder. When I first started sharing readings on Instagram, my original name of the account was called, I think it was, I don't even remember it now, Called to Tarot, was that it? And they're showing me Called to Crow. That's what they're giving me the same. Okay, and they're giving me the tarot and divination tools as ways that we heed the messages. So the crow is coming through here as a messenger, very strongly in that aspect, in its highest form, to help us navigate the dysfunctional aspect of the trickster energy. And that's where they're leaving it. Thank you. And they're gone. They're like, that's what we wanted to say. Okay, so something here in the message isn't heeding the call, okay? Now, the Whale and Orca elders are bringing in this energy of unity consciousness and unconsciousness, and working with the element of water, if that resonates for you, to connect to this collective consciousness. Now, they gave me at the beginning of this, because this has to do with authority. There's an energy here, this trickster aspect, illusory timelines is coming through here, 1551 on the counter, as I said that. This energy of mirroring. And this had come through before in terms of having our wits about us. And I can't remember, it may have been the Corvus energy that was saying that. So the Whale and Orca elders and the dolphins are coming in as wisdom keepers to align us, 1616 on the counter, to our deepest wisdom, okay? That's a 7 and a 7 that reduces. So the 7 here is the energy of going deeper, the energy of wisdom. And we've also got that reducing to a 14, which is the Temperance card. And they keep on bringing the number 4 in, because off screen, off recording, right before I started recording this message, they prompted me to pop cards from here, which is the first time that's ever happened. But look at the numbers here and look at this imagery. So we've got Cancer, which is a water sign, immerse, 10th house authority. This is the number 4 and 48. And then we've got 40 and resources at the bottom of the deck. This is the second house. So there's an emphasis here also on, multiples and divisibles. I hope that's the right word, or things that we can divide by 4. And then there's a component of the 2 here as well. And they just showed me 1717 as well. That's an 8 and an 8 and a 16. And again, we're dividing by 4. So there's a double energy here of I'm hearing alchemist's cube. But, okay. But this is not coming through. This is coming through as a tool of illusion. Okay. Okay. They're showing me specifically the energy of, is it Mecca? Oh man. The energy here is not exactly, okay. Because I'm seeing a black cube. Now, what they want to emphasize here is the spectrum of energy. The spectrum of energy that is being potentially, well, we know that this has been happening for millennia in terms of its manipulation. But essentially, like, I'm actually getting how, again, we're going back to religion. We're going back to because Christ energy is coming in now. The energy of Jesus, of Christ, of Christo is coming through now. To show how Christ is not the church. Christ is not the institution of the church. But look how that has been warped. And they're showing me this imagery of this alchemical cube. And the way that energy can be manipulated either for the highest and greatest truth and in alignment to the highest and greatest truth, with respect, what they're showing me for divine free will, or not. And they're showing me images of slavery now. That's what I'm saying. Okay. That's a lot. And they want me actually to stop there and give us a moment to sort of take that energy in, because, and they're directing me now back to these cards. What I heard when these cards popped and I put them down in front of me and I was looking at the way that they were presenting themselves to me, I heard immersing ourselves in our own authority. This is where the resources lie. And they're literally saying to me right now, that could be the end of this reading. But I am going to be popping, I'm going to be popping some cards for further guidance on that from Pamela's mini deck. So take this phrase. This is an invitation. This is an activation and meditation. Take this however it resonates for you. An invitation of your own free will, and in the highest and greatest good and in the highest and greatest truth, there's a lot of protection energy. I don't even know if that's the right way to call it right now. There is a very, very, very powerful frequency coming through right now. And all I'm seeing is literal, I'm just seeing golden light energy in the highest form. I'm seeing it being used in the highest and greatest good and in the highest and greatest truth for our highest and greatest activation and remembering is what they're saying to me. To meditate upon this sentence, these words is what they're showing me. There's a coding here. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. And I'm going to put this in, this is probably going to be the title. I will put this somewhere in writing. Okay. Immersing ourselves in our own authority. This is where the resources lie. And they're also showing me how we can use this as a mantra or an affirmation by saying, I immerse myself in my own authority. This is where my resources lie. This is where the resources live, I'm also hearing. Yeah, this is where the resources are. This is where the resources exist. Okay, this golden energy is being reflected in this here. The riches. And I've spoken about plutonic energy being very much that way because oftentimes it is within the darkest of experiences that the light shines the most brightly. And as I said that, a card popped. Yeah. The Lover's coming out of reverse. Okay. And they're directing me to the Devil card with that. Illusion. 6. Okay. 6 of Pentacles. This in combination coming out with again, the integration and rebalancing of energy. Also, this is connected to resources. This is very much connected to the second house energy. This is very much Taurian energy, Venusian energy, Libran energy when it comes to looking at it in that classical sense of resources, wealth, and the right distribution of that. They're also pointing me to the fact that there is so much wealth and resources that are not and have not been rightly distributed across Mama Gaia for millennia. That's what they're showing me with those 2 cards. Archangel Raphael coming through for this as well now. Yeah. Archangel Raphael is the archangel that's depicted in this Lover's card. I like to see this. Okay, this is the Nine of Swords coming out in reverse, coming out of the fear and the anxiety, understanding that fear is false expectations appearing real. This is all in our hands. I'm hearing it actually in Greek. This is all in our hands. And they're directing me back to this card. Okay. All right, so we have Nine of Pentacles, our flamboyance at the bottom of the deck. This is all in our hands. This is a really interesting depiction of this arrow going through this apple. I'm getting the energy of Apollo and Artemis coming through for this. Okay. And they're reminding me of that. Thank you. So the synchronicity that I want to bring up, because I don't know, this is something that came up for me this morning. And it was a reminder. It was a reminder. There's a depiction, and this is at the museum in Delphi in Greece, if I'm not mistaken, unless it's moved, I don't know. There's a depiction of Apollo, a drawing. Maybe I will find it. I think I have it somewhere. If not, I can find it somewhere online and post it in the community page or in the community section here. There is an image of Apollo pouring what looks like an offering or libation into the ground. He's holding a lyre, a lyre. Okay, this is also connected, by the way, to Lyrans. I just want to kind of put that, because Orpheus is connected to Apollo. Okay, so there is something there that wants to come through with regard to certain confirmations. I do feel, obviously, 100% that the Lyran collective, for the highest and greatest good of humanity, 100% is here for that and helping us at that time. I'm also getting the energy of the dragons connected to that as well, if that resonates for you. Okay, calling upon them also, they want to bring that through, calling upon them with regard to really tapping into our own authority, the Lyrans and the Lyran energy. And if you resonate as a Lyran starseed or from a Lyran starseed lineage, you know exactly what I'm talking about with regard to always being your own authority. This energy, there's a certain energy of, I wouldn't even call it rebellion with Lyran energy. It's not even rebellion. It's just, I am who I am. And my authority, it's a very almost regal, but I don't even know if that's the right word for it. It's this energy of just pure power and comfort and ease in our own authority, in being sure of ourselves, is how they're bringing in. And notice how I'm getting louder. This is what they do. It's like, and I'm seeing Lazar now wanting to come through. There's a lot that wants to come through for this message. My goodness, this is going to be a longer one. It already is. Okay, so there, he's just coming in as a reminder for that. He's showing me the golden pyramid again. So that's another nod to, I'm going to find that video and I'm going to pin it here. Okay, because he's, for some of you who are new to that, there was an activation imagery connection thing that had come through with him. I don't even know how long ago it was, with regard to this pyramid energy and working with this frequency and working with this Lyran energy that's connected to him, that is here to essentially, and this is the thing, this is another thing. It's not even the word empower. It's not even that. It's remembering. It's going back to the truth of who we are, to this inner source slash resource. Source slash resource is how he's showing it to me. Okay. It's this energy right here. You can even meditate upon this card in the tarot if that helps you. Okay, so going back to this, my God, this is what happens. I'm like, tangents, but that is how it happens. That's how it works. Okay, so the synchronicity with regard to this image of Apollo is that in it is a crow. And there is a beautiful story connected to Apollo and the crow. That could be a whole other topic for a message in a video that wants to come through. But one of the things that Apollo, I won't get into this story because I feel like I want you to take from it, that image, what you get from it. There's something in that image and that drawing. There's an energy. I'm hearing portal. There's a portal. So there's something in terms of the collective consciousness of this imagery. Okay. And this connection to Apollo, the energy of Apollo, the stories we have, the myths we have about Apollo. It's Apollona in Greek, Apollona. And what we have in terms of what that name means and the energy behind that name, Apo, is from afar or from a distance, okay? Now, he's also referred to as a protector or a thwarter of evil. But again, this is so fascinating. And he's connected to prophecy, okay? So it's this ability to see from afar, and this is what he's connecting to the crow for me right now, and specifically for this message that wants to come through. And also, I'm going to leave it on this note, to be discerning about the interpretations that we hear with regard to certain myths, with regard to certain beings, because one of the things that I've always seen as fascinating and very interesting, and let's just say that there's a lot more going on, is the story of Apollo and Pythia, the python. This massive snake slash dragon. She's also referred to as a dragon. And how, again, we interpret certain things as being evil when in fact they're only looked at as evil, from the point of view of power is what I'm hearing. And this goes back to religious indoctrination and the truths that have been kept from us, even though they really haven't, because we've always had access to them, in terms of this beautiful collective unconscious and this collective consciousness that we are all connected to, the whale and orca elders, the dolphins coming back for that. Okay, I'm going to end this message here. Immerse yourself in your own authority. This is where the resources lie. Thank you to the whale and orca elders, to the dolphins, to the energy of the Lyrans, Lazar, Corvus for coming through for this, and by extension of that, Apollo and the energy of Christ, which, by the way, historically has also been connected, which is fascinating because Apollo is connected to the sun. And how many interpretations do we have as Christ being connected to that as well? Okay, I'm going to end it there. This crown energy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me, for spending your time and energy with us in this space. Thank you to these beautiful energies of the crystals. I always want to bring those in at the end here, of apophyllite, celestite, and selenite coming in. There's an emphasis here on light as well. A biophotonic light on water. Light codes via the moon, because remember that the moon is reflecting the sun, and that is all, again, they're just showing me this massive connection here and really emphasizing this image right now too. Okay, sending you so much love wherever you are, in love and liberation always.